Hi there, and welcome back to Jediism 101, where we have been discussing the beginnings of what it is to become a Jedi realist in today's world. As previously discussed in videos, Jedi realist is someone who has studied the ways of the Jedi that were born out of the Star Wars franchise. This would be the movies, the books, the TV series, even the comics in some way, shape, or form. But we try to live by the ideals and the ideas um, of being Jedi in this current world culture. Now, as I've mentioned before, no, we do not, possess the ability to read people's minds, influence them with some type of mind trick, or have telepathy. But the philosophies and ideologies of these fictional warriors um, is what we attempt to study the most. So, what we have been going over lately has been the 16 basic teachings of the Jedi. Um, I did have uh, I did have somebody comment on one of my lessons of asking where these lessons are coming from, and where I am bringing these from is I studied at a place called the Temple of the Jedi Force, which was online. The website no longer exists, unfortunately, but this is being taken from a revised version of the Jedi Temple doctrine. This is was already in existence when I came to that temple. I did have a hand in doing some of the rewrite, mostly just kind of cleaning up the language a little bit, grammatically, that type of stuff. So that's where the sources I'm taking from these. And then the original writer of these, I actually do not know, is probably before my time. But these were the lessons that we started to pass down to our apprentices, and they started passing it down to their apprentices once they became knights, and so on and so forth. So, what we've been going over is the 16 basic teachings, and today is lesson number 5, or teaching number 5, I should say. Um, and do forgive me that I look off the screen. I'm reading these reading these off a Word document because I don't want to be inaccurate. So if I look like I'm not watching you guys, I really am. Um, so number 5 is, as Jedi, we trust and use our feelings. We are intuitive, more so than others. And with this heightened intuition, we become more spiritually evolved, and as our minds become more harmonious with the Force and its influences. Okay, so when we hear Jedi in the movies or even read in the books where they say, trust your feelings, you stretch out with the Force, trust your feelings, they were asking to use that intuitive nature. Now, that's not saying you should ignore straight up fact and statistics and all that kind of stuff. Um, it's kind of a balance of both. The feeling your feelings are a warning sign, or they can be a warning sign. They're basically saying, "Huh, yeah, this feels good." It kind of engages our fight or flight response as well. This is where, we have, where we make these decisions and how our emotions actually play up to this. Now, when we talk about, there is no emotion, there is peace, back to our first line of the code, it's not ignoring our emotions or our feelings in this case, but it's making sure that they don't control us. So I believe the phrase is trust but verify. So, use your intuition, think about it a little bit, but dig into it before you make your decision. Remember, feelings aren't facts. So we always want to be in tune with that, and it's giving us a stopping point where we need to stop, think, clear our minds, let the facts of the situation fuel our feelings towards what could be the possible best outcome and resource for doing it. Excuse me. Um, and we are we are attempting, through meditation, through just general listening, through the calming of our mind, cultivating serenity, all that type of stuff, is where we start having these feelings of, yeah, this is what I need to do. This is where I need to go. You should still have something backing that. Um, where, rationality, serves us very well, but our intuition is a gift that we should be using. And that is where this comes in. You can be rational. That's great. You should take in the facts, take in the statistics, uh, you know, take in both sides of an argument, that type of stuff. But also listen to your feelings. They're trying to tell you something, and you really need to, say, this is where this is pointing, but I got a feeling there's something more. My, that gut feeling, that mental and your brain says, hey, maybe you should pay attention to this or look towards this. These are those little things that you want to look at and listen to, because oftentimes it's kind of what can make or break you. When the hair stands up on the back of your neck, this is your, like I said, that's your fight or flight response. These are things you need to pay attention to, and not just because of dangers, but also just because of good things. We want to make sure we go forward with things because we want to on all of our fronts, not just because I have a feeling it's good or just because the logic and data says it's good. You want to have a fuller, larger picture of it, and that engages all of your senses and your mind, and really helps with our spirituality. So, um, that would be teaching number 5: is listening to your intuition. Feel, don't think. I believe that was Qui-Gon's quote to young Anakin before the pod race. It's letting your reflexes guide you. This works in many things where you just say, this is when we say, hey, Jesus, take the wheel. That's when we're just letting go of our thought and just letting the mind and the body do what it needs to do to survive. Oftentimes our reactions are quicker if we don't have to think about them. So that is today's teaching. If you have more questions about this, please do let me know in the comments. As always, I want you to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Honestly, this all helps the algorithm out, and I'm very glad that this is starting to reach more and more people. And honestly, share this to your friends and your favorites. All this stuff really helps me in the channel. All right. Until then, make sure that you get outside in this glorious weather. If hopefully you're in the Midwest like I am. If you're not, hopefully the weather is decent where you are. But get outside, get some fresh air. Make sure you drink more water, get some healthy sun, get some activity in, because we need to work on all three of ourselves. Be kind to the animals, be kind to the environment, be kind to other people that you meet, because they're always fighting battles that you don't know anything about and you don't want to make it worse. And always, always be kind to yourself. Till my next video, have a great one, and may the Force be with you.